I'd like to welcome everybody to Check Your Shelf. This is season 2. We're reading Catcher in the Rye. My name's Aaron. Some of y'all might know me by Gimme, but some of y'all might not know me at all. But I think it's really important that we know these books really intimately. So I'm gonna have to ask you to go check your shelf. Man, oh man. We're going without a pair of headphones today. I left them bitches at band practice. I had a busy ass day. Had a tattoo of Batty Coda from Fern Gully. You know what I'm saying? It's a busy day. But we still out here, man. It's late night. We drinking some PBR and we reading some books. It's Check Your Shelf, baby. Catcher in the Rye. We starting on chapter 20. The last episode, we had a pretty crazy run. Not only did we get to see a terrible, disastrous date, Holden getting outrageously jealous at some dude he never met before just because his date knew him, And then, man, we saw this dude get drunk with an old associate of his and just embarrassed himself. Kept talking about sex, asking personal questions about the dude's girl. It was pretty crazy, man, needless to say. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I think we're on episode 15 or 16 right now. I can't actually remember and I don't have it brought up in front of me, so S my D. But at any rate, we're gonna keep dropping them every single time. If you want to vote for the book we're gonna read next, I don't think there's much time or chance for you to beat out 1984, so we're gonna do 1984 and Animal Farm for season 3. But I'd love to see you in the Facebook or in the Discord. You can see the Discord link in the top right. It's also gonna be in the description. Facebook.com/groups/check-your-shelf. I guess I'm gonna eventually get a TikTok or and a Twitter and stuff going. I think that might be better for the audience that we have. But at any rate, you can always follow me on YouTube as well. All those links are gonna be found in the description. You can always just go to Linktr.ee/gimmedoses. You know what I mean? But enough of that bull stuff. I think you're supposed to keep it clean within the first 5 minutes. So let's chill for a second. But we're gonna start on chapter 20, man. We're getting through this book. Don't have much left, 30 or 40 pages, so only maybe 2 or 3 more episodes at the most. But we're gonna start on chapter 20, so if you're reading along on YouTube, it's gonna be right there in front of you. If not, flip the page, baby. Check your shelf. Let's go. Chapter 20. I kept sitting there, getting drunk and waiting for old Tina and Janine to come out and do their stuff, but they weren't there. A flitty looking guy with wavy hair came out and played the piano, and then this new babe, Valencia, came out and sang. She wasn't any good, but she was better than old Tina and Janine. At least she sang good songs. The piano was right next to the bar where I was sitting and all, and old Valencia was standing practically right next to me. I sort of gave her the old eye, but she pretended she didn't even see me. I probably wouldn't have done it, but I was getting drunk as hell. When she finished, she beat it the hell out of the room so fast I didn't even get a chance to invite her to join me for a drink. So I called the head waiter over. I told him to ask old Valencia if she'd care to join me for a drink. He said he would, but he probably didn't even give her my message. People never give your message to anybody. Boy, I sat at that goddamn bar till around 1 o'clock or so, getting drunk as a bastard. I could hardly see straight. The one thing I did though, I was careful as hell not to get boisterous or anything. I didn't want anybody to notice me or anything or ask how old I was, but boy, I could hardly see straight. When I was really drunk, I started that stupid business with the bullet in my guts again. Oh yeah, alright, I was like, wait, what? What are we talking about? When he was doing that little act when he got punched by the pimp. I started that stupid business with the bullet in my guts again. I was the only guy at the bar with a bullet in their guts. I kept putting my hand under my jacket, on my stomach and all. Wait, what? I kept putting my hand under my jacket, on my stomach and all to keep the blood from dripping all over the place. I didn't want anybody to know I was even wounded. I was concealing the fact that I was a wounded son of a bitch. Finally, what I felt like giving old Jane a buzz, see if she was home yet. Dude, I think it's been a day. And it's been 3 times you've wanted to see if she's home yet. You're really so lost in your in your hubris that you don't even realize. I mean, if she wasn't home this afternoon, why would she be home at 1 in the morning? That seems kind of weird. Just wait for school to end, man. Give it a day or two at least. Jeez. Fucking obsessive, man. Giving old Jane a buzz and seeing if she was home yet, so I paid my check and all, and then I left the bar and went out where the telephones were. I kept keeping my hand under my jacket to keep the blood from dripping. Boy, was I drunk. But when I got inside this phone booth, I wasn't much in the mood anymore to give old Jane a buzz. I was too drunk, I guess. Nope. You were too scared. You's a pussy bitch. So what I did, I gave old Sally Hayes a buzz. Had to dial about 20 numbers before I got the right one. Boy, was I blind. Hello? I said when somebody answered the goddamn phone. I sort of yelled it. I was so drunk. Who is this? This very cold lady's voice said. This is me, Holden Caulfield. Let me speak to Sally, please. Sally's asleep. This is Sally's grandmother. Why are you calling at this hour, Holden? Do you know what time it is? Yeah. Wanna talk to Sally? Very important. Put her on. Sally's asleep, young man. Call her tomorrow. Good night. Wake her up. Wake her up. Hey, atta boy. Then there was a different voice. Holden, this is me. It was old Sally. What's the big idea? Sally? That you? Yes. Stop screaming. Are you drunk? Yeah. Listen. Hey. I'll come over Christmas Eve, okay? Jimmy goddamn train for you, okay? You okay? Hey, Sally? Yes. You're drunk. Go to bed now. Where are you? Who's with you? Sally? I'll come over and trim a tree for you, okay? Okay? Hey. Yes, go to bed now. Where are you? Who's with you? Nobody. Me, myself, and I. Boy, was I drunk. I was even still holding on to my guts. They got me. Rocky's mob got me. You know that? Sally? You know that? I can't hear you. Go to bed now. I have to go. Call me tomorrow. Hey, Sally. You want me to trim a tree for you? Yeah, me too, huh? Yes. Good night. Go home. Go to bed. She hung up on me. Click. Sally's kind of a G. I think I like her the most out of anybody in this book so far. I don't know why. I have no reason other than that phone call conversation. Sorry I'm popping my knuckles while I'm talking, because I can't edit around that, and that's gotta be annoying, right? I apologize. Good night, Sally baby, Sally, sweetheart darling. Can you imagine how drunk I was? I hung up too then. I figured she probably just came home from a date. This is the same chick that you only a couple hours ago yelled at and took back home at 9 p.m., right? Like, this is the same chick? Are you really worried about that? This dude's so neurotic, man. It's really obvious when you're like reading, when I start speaking it out loud. Yikes. I pictured her out with the lunts and all somewhere, and that Andover jerk. All of them swimming around in a goddamn pot of tea and saying sophisticated stuff to each other and being all charming and phony. I wish to God I haven't even phoned her. When I'm drunk, I'm a madman. Let's bump up the phony counter. We're at 42 after that one. We started this episode at 41, and if I don't know if it was, I definitely didn't say it at the beginning of the episode, but man, the one we had last episode was outrageous. What just happened to everything? Did I just delete everything? Text file, what the hell just happened? Cancel? Control Z? That was weird. I don't know what just happened right there. If you want to see my confused face, you should be following on YouTube. Subscribe, Ascend.Create, Ascend.Create, Ascension, Creation, Ascend.Create. Follow it. Where are we at? When I'm drunk, I'm a madman. I stayed in the damn phone booth for quite a while. I kept holding on to the phone, sort of, so I wouldn't pass out. I wasn't feeling too marvelous, to tell you the truth. Finally, though, I came out and went into the men's room, staggering around like a moron, and filled one of the wash bowls with cold water. Then I just dunked my head in, right up to the ears. I didn't even bother to dry it or anything, I just let the son of a bitch drip. Then, I walked over to this radiator by the window and just sat down on it. It was nice and warm. It felt good because I was shivering like a bastard. The funny thing, I always shiver like hell when I'm drunk. I didn't have anything else to do, so I just kept sitting on the radiator and counting these little white squares on the floor. I was getting soaked. About a gallon of water was dripping down my neck, getting all over my collar and tie and all, but I didn't give a damn. I was too drunk to give a damn. Then, pretty soon, the guy that played the piano for old Valencia, this very wavy-haired, flitty-looking guy, he came in to comb his golden locks. We sort of struck up a conversation while he was combing it, except he wasn't too goddamn friendly. Hey, you gonna see that Valencia babe when you go back in the bar? And see, now it's weird because this this bit of dialogue is not written like he's super drunk. He was like slurring his words and stuff when he was talking to Sally Hayes, but now that he's recollecting this part of the story, he's not acting like he was as drunk as he was. Right? That's interesting. Hey, you gonna see that Valencia babe when you go back in the bar? It's highly probable. Witty bastard. All they ever meet is witty bastards. Listen, give her my compliments. Ask her if that goddamn waiter gave her my message, will you? Why don't you go home, Mac? How old are you anyway? 86. Listen, give her my compliments, okay? Why don't you go home, Mac? Not me. Boy, you can play that goddamn piano. I was just flattering him. He played the piano stinking, if you want to know the truth. You ought to go on the radio, I said. Handsome chap like you, all those goddamn golden locks? You need a manager? Go home, Mac. Like a good guy. Go home and hit the sack. No home to go to. No kidding, you need a manager? He didn't answer me. He just went out. He was all through combing his hair and patting it and all, so he left. Like Strad later. All these handsome guys are all the same. When they're done combing their goddamn hair, they beat it on you. Pause. They beat it on you. Gay. Holden's gay. Get it? That's the joke. When I finally got down off the radiator and went out to the hat check room, I was crying and all. I don't know why, but I was. I guess it was because I was feeling so damn depressed and lonesome. Yeah, probably. I'd say it's a pretty good reason, man. It's about time you fucking practice some self-awareness. I guess it was because I was feeling so damn depressed and lonesome. Then, when I went out to the check room, I couldn't find my goddamn check. The hat check girl was very nice about it though. She gave me my coat anyway, and my little Shirley Beans record. I still had it with me and all. I gave her $1 for being so nice, but she wouldn't take it. She kept telling me to go home and go to bed. I sort of tried to make a date with her for when she got through working, but she wouldn't do it. She said she was old enough to be my mother and all. I showed her my goddamn gray hair and told her I was 42. I was only horsing around naturally. She was nice though. I showed her my goddamn red hunting hat and she liked it. She made me put it on before I went out because my hair was still pretty wet. She was alright. I didn't feel too drunk anymore when I went outside, but it was getting very cold out again and my teeth started chattering like hell. I couldn't make them stop. I walked over to Madison Avenue and started to wait around for a bus because I didn't have ribbity baby. I need to make a beat. For them ribbities. Some fucking frogs. I don't know. I feel like I've explained the ribbity thing before, but I'm gonna have to also add that in for new viewers almost every season because I feel like with every season we're gonna have new viewers. You know what I mean? But In my brain, when I was reading out loud, ribbity ribbity is the sound of something being rewound. You know what I mean? Like a VHS tape or a cassette tape being rewound. Oh, for the kids, cassette tapes is what Spotify used to be before, Anyway, now I'm depressed. I didn't feel too drunk anymore when I was... Sorry, anyway. I already read that, I think, but yeah, I didn't have hardly any money. I walked over to Madison Avenue and started to wait around for a bus, because I didn't have hardly any money left, and I had to start economizing on cabs and all. But I didn't feel like getting on a damn bus. And besides, I didn't even know where I was supposed to go. So, what I did, started walking over to the park. I figured I'd go by that little lake and see what the hell the ducks were doing. See if they were around or not. I still didn't know if they were around or not. It wasn't far over to the park, and I didn't have any place else special to go. I didn't even know where I was gonna sleep yet, so I went. I wasn't tired or anything, I just felt blue as hell. Then something terrible happened just as I got in the park. I dropped old Phoebe's record. It broke into about 50 pieces. It was in a big envelope and all, but it broke anyway. I damn near cried. It made me feel so terrible, but all I did was, I took the pieces out of the envelope, put them in my coat pocket. They weren't good for anything, but I didn't feel like just throwing them away. Then I went in the park. Boy, was it dark. You know, I just feel like with all the love and admiration he has for Phoebe and the amount of effort that he's put into not only seeing her but making her happy, it feels like he would have felt a little bit more sad about that, but maybe I don't know shit. I'm just curious. I'm wondering if the alcohol is, I wonder if he's gonna feel like that was because he got so drunk, you know? I can't remember what the realized consequences or something like that I think it's called, but I doubt it. He's just a dumb kid and he'll probably go have another drink somewhere else. Man. Boy, was it dark. Yes, it was, Holden. Yes, it was. I've lived in New York all my life, and I know Central Park like the back of my hand because I used to roller skate there all the time and ride my bike when I was a kid, but I had the most terrific trouble finding that lagoon that night. I knew right where it was. It was right near Central Park South and all, but I still couldn't find it. I must have been drunker than I thought. I kept walking and walking, and it kept getting darker and darker and spookier and spookier. I didn't see one person the whole time I was in the park. I'm just as glad. I probably would have jumped about a mile if I had. And then finally, I found it. What it was partially frozen and partially not frozen. But I didn't see any ducks around. I walked all around the whole damn lake. Damn near fell in once, in fact, but I didn't see a single duck. I thought maybe, if there were any around, they might be asleep or something near the edge of the water, near the grass and all. That's how I nearly fell in, but I couldn't find any. Finally, I sat down on this bench where it wasn't so goddamn dark. Boy, I was still shivering like a bastard. And the back of my hair, even though I had my hunting hat on, was sort of full of little hunks of ice. That worried me. Thought I'd probably get pneumonia and die. I started picturing millions of jerks coming to my funeral and all. My grandfather from Detroit that keeps calling out the numbers of the streets when you ride on a goddamn bus with him, and my aunts. I have about 50 aunts, and all my lousy cousins. What a mob it'd be there. They all came when Allie died. The whole goddamn stupid bunch of them. I have this one stupid aunt with halitosis that kept saying how peaceful he looked lying there. DB told me. I wasn't there. I was still in the hospital. I had to go to the hospital and all after I hurt my hand. Anyway, I kept worrying that I was getting pneumonia with all these hunks of ice in my hair, and that I was gonna die. I felt sorry as hell for my mother and father, especially my mother, because she still isn't over my brother Allie yet. I kept picturing her not knowing what to do with all my suits and athletic equipment and all. The only good thing, I knew she wouldn't let old Phoebe come to my goddamn funeral because she's only a little kid. And that was the only good part. Then, I thought about the whole bunch of them sticking me in a goddamn cemetery and all, with my name on this tombstone and all, surrounded by dead guys. Boy, when you're dead, they really fix you up. I hope to hell when I do die, somebody has sense enough to just dump me in the river or something. Anything except sticking me in a goddamn cemetery. People coming and putting a bunch of flowers on your stomach on Sunday and all that crap. Who wants flowers when you're dead? Nobody. So I wanted to... God, man. What a stark difference in tone in the last couple of minutes. Is Holden about to die right now? I don't remember if he dies in this movie. There's no way he dies, right? I can't remember. Who wants flowers when you're dead? I'm pretty sure it's like a Devil Wears Prada song. Anyways. When the weather's nice, my parents go out quite frequently and stick a bunch of flowers on old Allie's grave. I went with them a couple times, but I cut it out. In the first place, I certainly don't enjoy seeing him in that crazy cemetery, surrounded by dead guys and tombstones and all. It wasn't too bad when the sun was out, but twice when we were there when it started to rain. It was awful. It rained on his lousy tombstone, and it rained on the grass of his stomach. It rained all over the place. All the visitors that were visiting the cemetery started running like hell over to their cars, and that's what nearly drove me crazy. All the visitors could get in their cars and turn on their radios and go someplace nice for dinner. Everybody except Allie. I couldn't stand it. I know it's only his body and all that's in the cemetery, and his soul's in heaven and all that crap, but I couldn't stand it anyway. I just wish he wasn't there. You didn't know him. If you'd known him, you'd know what I mean. It's not too bad when the sun's out, but the sun only comes out when it feels like coming out. Damn, is that not a metaphor for fucking Holden? Is that not just a little bit of beautiful imagery for how Holden is being represented in this book? My God. After a while, just to get my mind off getting pneumonia and all, I took out my dough and tried to count in the lousy light from the street lamp. All I had was 3 singles, 5 quarters, and a nickel. Boy, I spent a fortune since I left Pensy. Then what I did, I went down near the lagoon and I sort of skipped the quarters and nickel across it, where it wasn't frozen. I don't know why I did it, but I did it. I guess I thought it'd take my mind off getting pneumonia and dying. It didn't, though. I started thinking how old Phoebe would feel if I got pneumonia and died. It was a childish way to think, but I couldn't stop myself. She'd feel pretty bad if something like that happened. She likes me a lot. I mean, she's quite fond of me. She really is. Anyway, I couldn't get that off my mind, so finally, what I figured I'd do, figured I'd better sneak home and see her, in case I died and all. I had my door key with me and all, and I figured what I'd do, I'd sneak in the apartment, very quiet and all, and just sort of chew the fat with her for a while. The only thing that worried me was our front door. Sorry. The only thing that worried me was our front door. It creaks like a bastard. The pretty old apartment house, and the superintendent's a lazy bastard, and everything creaks and squeaks. I was afraid my parents might hear me sneaking in, but I decided I'd try it anyhow. I got the hell out of the park and went home. I walked all the way. It wasn't too far, and I wasn't tired or even drunk anymore. It was just very cold and nobody around anywhere. It's interesting. I like how dark it got after he broke that record, because I made that observation that, you know, you would think he would feel much more sad and you know, downtrodden about breaking that, because that was like the symbolism that he was, you know, that's him expressing his love to his sister, and that's one of the biggest symbolic gestures we would have had in the book, right? And then when he broke it, the entire fucking rest of the chapter just changed, man. God, that was some heavy shit. You know, that was a really bleak glimpse into this poor kid's psyche, man. My God. Nobody around anywhere. And then it's weird because I'm so immersed in the book that I forgot that he's like, all he has to do is just go home and get yelled at by his parents, and then he can have a nice fucking bowl of soup, a shower, and he can go to bed in his fucking bed. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how dramatic and ridiculous this kid is. I don't know what his home life is like. He hasn't told us anything about his home life, so maybe it's trash, but I just think that's kind of funny. Like, he's out here worried about dying from pneumonia, and like all he has to do is just go home and get grounded. You know what I'm saying? This fucking guy. Chapter 21. The best break I had in years. When I got home the regular night, when I got home, it's not there. The regular elevator boy, Pete, wasn't on the car. Some new guy I'd never seen was on the car, so I figured that if I didn't bump smack into my parents and all, I'd be able to say hello to old Phoebe and then beat it, and nobody'd even know I'd been around. It really was a terrific break. What made it even better? The new elevator boy was sort of on the stupid side. I told him in this very casual voice, take me up to the Dicksteins. The Dicksteins were these people that had the other apartment on our floor. I'd already taken off my hunting hat so as not to look suspicious or anything. I went in the elevator like I was in a terrific hurry. He had the elevator doors all shut and all, and was all set to take me up, and then he turned around and said, "They ain't in. They're at a party on the 14th floor." "That's all right," I said. "I'm supposed to wait for them on their nephew." He gave me this sort of stupid, suspicious look. "You better wait in the lobby, fella." I'd like to. I really would, but I have a bad leg. I have to hold it in a certain position. I think I'd better sit down in the chair outside their door. He didn't know what the hell I was talking about, so all he said was, "Oh," and took me up. Not bad. Boy, it's funny. All you have to do is say something nobody understands, and they'll do practically anything you want them to. I got off at our floor, limping like a bastard, started walking over to the Dickstein side. Then, when I heard the elevator doors shut, I turned around and went over to our side. I was doing all right. I didn't even feel drunk anymore. Then, I took out my door key and opened our door, quiet as hell. Then, very, very carefully and all, I went inside and closed the door. I really should have been a crook. It was dark as hell in the foyer, naturally, and naturally, I couldn't turn on any lights. I had to be careful not to bump into anything and make a racket. I certainly knew I was home, though. Our foyer has this funny smell that doesn't smell like any place else. I don't know what the hell it is. It isn't cauliflower, and it isn't perfume. I don't know what the hell it is, but you always know you're home. I started to take off my coat and hang it up in the foyer closet, but that closet's full of hangers that rattle like madmen when you open the door, so I left it on. Then I started walking very, very slowly back toward old Phoebe's room. I knew the maid wouldn't hear me because she only had one eardrum. She had this brother that stuck a straw down her ear when she was a kid. She told me that once. She was pretty deaf and all, but my parents, especially my mother, she has ears like a goddamn... Wait, That was a weird sentence. Especially my, oh, all right, I'm dumb. That's me. That's just me being dumb. But my parents, especially my mother, she has ears like a goddamn bloodhound. So I took it very, very easy when I went past their door. I even held my breath, for God's sake. You can hit my father over the head with a chair and he won't wake up, but my mother? All you have to do to my mother is cough somewhere in Siberia and she'll hear you. She's nervous as hell. Half the time she's up all night smoking cigarettes. Finally, after about an hour, I got to old Phoebe's room. She wasn't there though. I forgot about that. She always sleeps in DB's room when he's away in Hollywood or someplace. She likes it because it's the biggest room in the house. Also because it has this big old madman desk in it that DB bought off some lady alcoholic in Philadelphia. And this big gigantic bed that's about 10 miles wide and 10 miles long. I don't know where he bought that bed. Anyway, old Phoebe likes to sleep in DB's room when he's away, and he lets her. You ought to see her doing her homework or something at that crazy desk. It's almost as big as the bed. You can hardly see her when she's doing her homework. That's the kind of stuff she likes though. She doesn't like her own room because it's too little. She says she likes to spread out. That kills me. What's old Phoebe got to spread out? Nothing. Anyway, I went into DB's room, quiet as hell, and turned on the lamp on the desk. Old Phoebe didn't even wake up. When the light was on and all, I sort of looked at her for a while. She was laying there asleep with her face sort of on the side of the pillow. She had her mouth way open. It's funny, you take adults, they look lousy when they're asleep, and they have their mouths way open, but kids don't. They look alright. They can even have spit all over the pillow and they still look alright. I went around the room, very quiet and all, just looking at stuff for a while. I felt swell for a change. I didn't even feel like I was getting pneumonia or anything anymore. I just felt good for a change. Old Phoebe's clothes were on this chair right next to the bed. She's very neat for a child. I mean, she doesn't just throw her stuff around like some kids. She's no slob. She had the jacket to this tan suit my mother bought her in Canada hung up on the back side of the chair. Then, her blouse and stuff were on the seat. Her shoes and socks were on the floor right underneath the chair right next to each other. I never saw the shoes before, they were new. They were these dark brown loafers, sort of like this pair I have, and they went swell with that suit my mother bought her in Canada. My mother dresses her nice, she really does. My mother has terrific taste in some things. She's no good at buying ice skates or anything like that, but clothes, she's perfect. I mean, Phoebe always has on some dress that can kill you. You take most little kids, even if their parents are wealthy and all, they usually have on some terrible dress. I wish you could see old Phoebe in that suit my mother bought her in Canada. I'm not kidding. I sat down on old... Where's my beer? I sat down on old DB's desk and looked at the stuff on it. It was mostly Phoebe's stuff from school and all. Mostly books. The one on top was called Arithmetic is Fun. Fucking exclamation point, bro. I sort of opened the first page and took a look at it. This is what old Phoebe had on it. Phoebe Weatherfield Caulfield. 4B1. That killed me. Her middle name is Josephine, for Christ's sake, not Weatherfield. She doesn't like it though. Every time I see her, she's got a new middle name for herself. The book underneath the arithmetic? The book, God, my nose is tickling. The book underneath the arithmetic was a geography. And the book under the geography was a speller. She's very good in spelling. She's very good in all her subjects, but she's the best in spelling. I swear to God, if I just saw another bug, it just flew in over the brim of my hat and then went somewhere. You motherfucker. I swear to God, I'm gonna lose my shit. I gotta get a screen door for the back for when I let my cat out. Sorry. She's very good in all her subjects, but she's best in spelling. Then, under the speller, there were a bunch of notebooks. There's about 5,000 notebooks. You never saw a kid with so many notebooks. I opened the one on top and looked at the first page. It had on it, Bernice, meet me at recess. I have something very, very important. Oh, I wonder if this should be Phoebe's voice, huh? Bernice, meet me at recess. I have something very, very important to tell you. That's all there was on that page. The next one had on it, why has southeastern Alaska so many canning factories? Because there's so much salmon. I wonder if she's answering these for herself? I'm a little lost, whatever. Why has it valuable forests? Because it has the right climate. What has our government done to make life easier for the Alaskan Eskimos? Look it up for tomorrow. Phoebe Weatherfield Caulfield. Phoebe Weatherfield Caulfield. Phoebe W. Caulfield. Phoebe Weatherfield Caulfield, Esquire. Please pass to Shirley. Does that mean Esquire? What the fuck does ESQ actually mean? Now that I'm seeing it and having to read it out loud, I don't know what that shit means. I think we should consult Dr. Goog. Dr. Goog. What ESQ means? Looks like Esquire. Yep. Esquire, often shortened to ESQ, is a title of courtesy given to a lawyer and commonly appended to his or her surname, especially when addressing the lawyer in written form. Interesting. Not really. So Phoebe wants to be a lawyer, I guess? Is that what we're supposed to infer? Phoebe Weatherfield Caulfield, Esquire. Please pass to Shirley. Shirley, you said you were Sagittarius, but you're only Taurus. Bring your skates. When you come over, oh, I hate this. I hate the spacing of this. Shirley, you said you were Sagittarius, but you're only Taurus. Bring your skates when you come over to my house. I sat there on DB's desk and read the whole notebook. Didn't take me long. I can read that kind of stuff. Some kid's notebook, Phoebe's, or anybody's all day, all night long. Kids' notebooks kill me. Then I lit another cigarette. It was my last one. I must have smoked about 3 cartons that day. And then finally I woke her up. I mean, I couldn't sit there on that desk for the rest of my life. And besides, I was afraid my parents might barge in on me all of a sudden, and I wanted to at least say hello to her before they did. So I woke her up. She wakes up very easily. I mean, you don't have to yell at her or anything. All you have to do is sit down on the bed and say, wake up, Phoebe. And bingo, she's awake. I like how he spelled it like the exact phonetic, like it's exactly spelled right instead of spelling it like PHEEB. Interesting choice. Holden, she said right away, put her arms around my neck and all. She's very affectionate. I mean, she's quite affectionate for a child. Sometimes she's even too affectionate. I sort of gave her a kiss and she said, "When'd you get home?" She was glad as hell to see me, you could tell. Not so loud. Just now. How are you anyway? I'm fine. Did you get my letter? I wrote you a 5-page. Yeah, not so loud, thanks. She wrote me this letter. I didn't get a chance to answer it though. It was all about this play she was in school. She told me not to make any dates or anything for Friday so that I could come see it. How's the play? I asked her. What'd you say the name of it was? A Christmas Pageant for Americans. It stinks, but I'm Benedict Arnold. I have practically the biggest part. Boy, she was wide awake. She gets very excited when she tells you that stuff. It starts out when I'm dying, this ghost comes in on Christmas Eve and asks me if I'm ashamed and everything, for betraying my country and everything. Are you coming to it? She was sitting way the hell up in bed and all. That's what I wrote you about, are you? Sure, I'm coming. Certainly I'm coming. Daddy can't come. He has to fly to California. Boy, was she wide awake. It only takes her about 2 seconds to get wide awake. She was sitting, sort of kneeling, way up in bed, and she was holding my goddamn hand. Listen, Mother said you'd be home Wednesday. She said Wednesday. I got out early. Not so loud, you'll wake everybody up. What time is it? They won't be home till very late, Mother said. They went to a party in Norwalk, Connecticut. Guess what I did this afternoon? Guess what I saw? Guess. I don't know. Listen, didn't they say what time they'd be? The Doctor! It's a special movie they had at the Lister Foundation. Just this one day they had it. Today was the only day. It was all about this doctor in Kentucky and everything that sticks to a blanket over this child's face that's a cripple and can't walk. And then they send him to jail. It was excellent. Listen, just a second. Didn't they say what time they'd... He feels sorry for it, the doctor. That's why he sticks his blanket over her face and everything. It makes her suffocate. But then they make him go to jail for life imprisonment. But this child that he stuck to the blanket over his head comes to visit him all the time and then thanks him for what he did. He was a mercy killer. Only he knows he deserves to go to jail because a doctor isn't supposed to take things away from God. This girl in my class's mother took us, Alice Holmborg. She's my best friend. She's the only girl. Wait a second, will you? I'm asking you a question. Did they say what time they'd be back or didn't they? No, but not till very late. Daddy took the car and everything so they wouldn't have to worry about trains. We have a radio in it now. Except that Mother said nobody can play it when the car's in traffic. I began to relax, sort of. I mean, I finally quit worrying about whether they'd catch me home or not. I figured the hell with it. If they did, they did. That's what I'm talking about, Holden. It seems like you just became accustomed to death. It seems like you've just accepted your fate, that you will die and you are a perishable human. Now accept your fate from Satan, aka your parents. Sorry, it just feels like that's how dramatic he's being about this shit, you know what I mean? Anyway. You should have seen old Phoebe. She had on these blue pajamas with red elephants on the collars. Elephants knock her out. So it was a good picture, huh? Swell, except Alice had a cold and her mother kept asking her all the time if she felt grippy right in the middle of the picture, always in the middle of something important. Her mother'd lean all over me and everything and ask Alice if she felt grippy. It got on my nerves. Then I told her about the record. Listen, I bought you a record, only I broke it on the way home. I took the pieces out of my coat pocket and showed her. I was plastered. Give me the pieces. I'm saving them. She took them right out of my hand and then she put them in the drawer of the night table. She kills me. DB coming home for Christmas? He may, and he may not, Mother said. It all depends. He may have to stay in Hollywood and write a picture about Annapolis. Annapolis, for God's sake. It's a love story and everything. Guess who's gonna be in it? Guess movie star. Guess what movie? Guess. I'm not interested. Annapolis, for God's sake. What's DB know about Annapolis, for God's sake? What's that got to do with the kind of stories he writes? Boy, that stuff drives me crazy. That goddamn Hollywood. What'd you do to your arm? I noticed she had this big hunk of adhesive tape on her elbow. The reason I noticed it, her pajamas didn't have any sleeves. This boy... Wait, I was about to read that in fucking Holden's voice. That was weird. This boy? This boy, Curtis Weintraub, that's in my class, pushed me while I was going down the stairs in the park. You wanna see? She started taking the crazy adhesive tape off her arm. Leave it alone. Why did he push you down the stairs? I don't know. I think he hates me. This other girl and me, Selma Hatterberry, put ink and stuff all over his windbreaker. That isn't nice. What are you, a child, for God's sake? Ooh, interesting parallels here. Nice. I like it. I like this. This is fun. Okay. Let's continue this. This is fun. Because this is how everybody's been looking at Holden the whole time in the book, right? Interesting. No, but every time I'm in the park, he follows me everywhere. He's always following me. He gets on my nerves. He probably likes you. That's no reason to put ink. I don't want him to like me. Then she started looking funny at me. Holden, how come you're not home Wednesday? What? Boy, you have to watch her every minute. If you don't think she's smart, you're mad. How come you're not home Wednesday? You didn't get kicked out or anything, did you? I told you, they let us out early. You did get kicked out, you did. Then she hit me on the leg with her fist. She gets very fisty when she feels like it. You did? Oh, Holden! She had her hand on her mouth and all. She gets very emotional, I swear to God. Who said I got kicked out? Nobody said I got... You did! You did! Then she smacked me again with her fist. If you don't think that hurts, you're crazy. Daddy'll kill you! Then she flopped on her stomach on the bed and put the goddamn pillow over her head. She does that quite frequently. She's a true madman sometimes. Cut it out now. Nobody's gonna kill me. Nobody's gonna even... Come on, Phoebe, take that goddamn thing off your head. Nobody's gonna kill me. She wouldn't take it off, though. You couldn't make her do something if she doesn't want to. All she kept saying was, Daddy's gonna kill you. You could hardly understand her with that goddamn pillow over her head. Nobody's gonna kill me. Use your head. In the first place, I'm going away. What I may do, I may get a job on a ranch or something for a while. I know this guy whose grandfather's got a ranch in Colorado. I may get a job out there. I'll keep in touch with you and all when I'm gone if I go. Come on, take that off your head. Come on. Hey, Phoebe, please. Please, will you? She wouldn't take it off, though I tried pulling it off. But she's strong as hell. You get tired fighting with her. Boy, if she wants to keep a pillow over her head, she keeps it. Phoebe, please, come on out of there. Come on. Hey, Weatherfield, come on out. She wouldn't come out, though. You can't even reason with her sometimes. Finally, I got up and went out to the living room and got some cigarettes out of the box on the table and stuck some in my pocket. I was all out. Interesting. That was, was that Holden? Did we see Holden acting like an adult right there? Was he trying to act a little bit responsible when it came to the well-being of his sister? That kind of feels like what we witnessed right there. Chapter 22. I want to see how much of the book we got left. Okay. Let's see if we can squeeze in chapter 22. Chapter 22. When I came back, she had the pillow off of her head all night. I knew she would, but she still wouldn't look at me, even though she was laying on her back and all. When I came around the side of the bed and sat down again, she turned her crazy face the other way. He was ostracizing the hell out of me. Just like the fencing team at Pensy when I left all the goddamn foils on the subway. Oh man, how long ago that was and how young of a Holden we had in our faces. You know, no notions, no judgments on him at this point. Just knew he was a lost little boy. Now he's just like this weird dickhead that I don't like. How's old Hazel Weatherfield? Are you writing any new stories about her? I got that one you sent me right in my suitcase. It's down at the station. It's very good. Daddy'll kill you. Boy, she really gets something on her mind when she gets something on her mind. Top tier writing right there, J.D. Salinger. No, he won't. The worst he'll do, he'll give me hell again, and then he'll send me to that goddamn military school. That's all he'll do to me. And in the first place, I won't even be around. I'll be away. I'll probably be in Colorado on this ranch. Don't make me laugh. You can't even ride a horse. Who can't? Sure I can. Certainly I can. They can teach you in about 2 minutes. Stop picking at that. She was picking at the adhesive tape on her arm. Who gave you that haircut? I just noticed what a stupid haircut somebody gave her. It was way too short. None of your business. She can be very snotty sometimes. She can be quite snotty. What book am I reading? Who wrote this shit, dude? It's so weird. She can be very snotty sometimes. She can be quite snotty. I suppose you failed in every single subject again, she said, very snotty. It was sort of funny too, in a way. She sounds like a goddamn school teacher sometimes, and she's only a little child. No, I didn't. I passed English. Then, just for the hell of it, I gave her a pinch on the behind. It was sticking way out in the breeze, the way she was laying on her side. She has hardly any behind. I didn't do it hard, but she tried to hit my hand anyway, but she missed. That's a weird thing to say about your, like, 9-year-old sister, 7-year-old sister, however old this bitch is. Don't cut off your head, buddy. Bring it down, you tall bitch. Oh, I really thought I was about to lower my chair to the bottom of the thing, and that was going to be so funny. What a fail. Please don't subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't see me doing shit like that. Pinching, but she missed. Then all of a sudden she said, "Oh, why'd you do it?" She meant, why'd I get the axe again? It made me sort of sad the way she said it. Oh God, Phoebe, don't ask me. I'm sick of everybody asking me that. A million reasons why. It was one of the worst schools I ever went to. It was full of phonies and mean guys. You never saw so many mean guys in your life. For instance, if you were having a bull session in somebody's room and somebody wanted to come in, nobody'd let them in if there was some dopey, pimply guy. Everybody was always locking their door when somebody wanted to come in. And they had this goddamn secret fraternity that I was too yellow not to join. There was this one pimply, boring guy, Robert Ackley, old Ack, that wanted to get in. He just kept trying to join and they wouldn't let him just because he was boring and pimply. I don't even feel like talking about it. It was a stinking school. Take my word. Damn. Alright, so we're gonna bump up the phony counter to 43 and we're gonna comment on that paragraph because this is something that Holden was doing. Like, Holden was doing the very thing that what he's wanting to do right now is he's wanting to make it, he's putting on airs for Phoebe. He's wanting to make it seem like he's much more of a benevolent being. Like, he's like this, I would never be phony like these guys. I would never participate in anything so silly as such as not letting somebody in the room because they have pimples. But then he's gonna fucking, talk all this smack on these nuns and shit like that. Like, it's just strange that he's acting so phony in front of his sister. I don't know. You would think if he values being genuine so highly, if he prioritizes being genuine, then he would want to act that way to the person he loves most, which is Phoebe. I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm just a dirty hippie. But old Phoebe didn't say anything. She was just listening. I could tell by the back of her neck that she was listening. She always listens when you tell her something. And the funny part is, she knows half the time what the hell you're talking about. She really does. I kept talking about old Pensy. I sort of felt like it. Even the couple of nice... So now he's about to go on rant number 2. Even the couple of nice teachers on the faculty were phonies too. I'm gonna go ahead and add that before I have to stop in the middle of a paragraph. Try to act like I'm not gonna forget it. Even the couple of nice teachers on the faculty, they were phonies too. There was this one old guy, Mr. Spencer. His wife was always giving you hot chocolate and all that stuff. They were really pretty nice, but you should have seen him when the headmaster, old Thermer, came in the history class and sat down in the back of the room. He was always coming in and sitting down in the back of the room for about a half an hour. He was supposed to be incognito or something. After a while, he'd be sitting back there and then he'd start interrupting what old Spencer was saying to crack a lot of corny jokes. Old Spencer'd practically kill himself chuckling and smiling and all. Like as if Thermer was a goddamn prince or something. Don't swear so much. It would have made you puke, I swear it would. Then on Veterans Day, they have this day, Veterans Day, that all the jerks that graduated from Pensy around 1776 come back, and they walk all over the place with their wives and children and everybody. You should have seen this one old guy that was about 50. What he did was, he came in our room and knocked on the door and asked us if we would mind if he'd use the bathroom. The bathroom was at the end of the corridor. I don't know why the hell he asked us. You know what he said? He said he wanted to see if his initials were still in on one of the can doors. What he did, he carved his goddamn stupid sad old initials in one of the can doors about 90 years ago. He wanted to see if they were still there. So my roommate and I walked him down to the bathroom and all, and we had to stand there while he looked for his initials in all the can doors. And he kept talking to us the whole time, telling us about how he was at Pensy, they were the happiest days of his life, and giving us a lot of advice for the future and all. Boy, did he depress me. I don't mean he was a bad guy. He wasn't. But you don't have to be a bad guy to depress somebody. You can be a good guy and do it. All you have to do to depress somebody is give them a lot of phony advice while you're looking for your initials in some can door. That's all you have to do. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't have been so bad if he hadn't been all out of breath. He was all out of breath from just climbing the stairs. And the whole time he was looking for his initials, he kept breathing hard with his nostrils all funny and sad. And then he kept telling Stradlater and I to get all we could out of Pensy. God, Phoebe, I can't explain. I just didn't like anything that was happening at Pensy. I can't explain. I don't know, man. You did a pretty good job at what irritated you, but none of that really seemed substantial. So I guess to a young child who looks to you as a sort of role model and to somebody you're trying to impress, yeah, I bet you do feel kind of silly saying things like this because they're so meaningless. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bet she sees right through your little phony facade, bro. You can't trick little kids. Old Phoebe said something then, but I couldn't hear her. She had the side of her mouth right smack on the pillow and I couldn't hear her. What? Take your mouth away. I can't hear you with your mouth that way. You don't like anything that's happening. It made me even more depressed when she said that. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Sure, I do. Don't say that. Why the hell you say that? Because you don't. You don't like any schools. You don't like a million things. You don't. I do. That's where you're wrong. That's exactly where you're wrong. Why the hell do you have to say that? Boy, she was depressing me. Because you don't. Name one thing. One thing? One thing I like? Okay. The trouble was, I couldn't concentrate too hot. Sometimes it's hard to concentrate. One thing I like a lot, you mean? I asked her. She didn't answer me though. He was in a cockeyed position, way the hell over on the other side of the bed. He was about 1,000 miles away. Come on, answer me. One thing I like a lot, or one thing I just like? That boy is stalling. Not like the dictator guy, but you know, anyway. Something you like a lot. All right, I said, but the trouble was I couldn't concentrate. About all I could think of were those two nuns that went around collecting dough in those beat up old straw baskets. Especially the one with the glasses with those iron rims. And this boy I knew at Elkton Hills. There was this one boy at Elkton Hills named James Castle that wouldn't take back something he said about this very conceited boy, Phil Stabile. James Castle called him a very conceited guy, and one of Stabile's lousy friends went and squealed on him to Stabile. So Stabile, with about 6 other dirty bastards, went down to James Castle's room and went in and locked the goddamn door and tried to make him take back what he said, but he wouldn't do it. So they started in on him. I won't even tell you what they did to him because it's too repulsive. but he still wouldn't take it back. Old James Castle. And you should have seen him. He was this little skinny, little weak-looking guy with wrists about as big as pencils. Finally, what he did, instead of taking back what he said, he jumped out the window. I was in the shower and all, and even I could hear him land outside. But I just thought something fell out of the window, a radio or a desk or something, not a boy or anything. Then I heard everybody running through the corridor and down the stairs, so I put on my bathrobe and I ran downstairs too. And there was old James Castle, lying right on the stone steps and all. He was dead, and his teeth and blood were all over the place, and nobody would even go near him. He had on this turtleneck sweater that I'd lent him. All they did with the guys that were in the room with him was expel them. They didn't even go to jail. That was all I could think of. Those 2 nuns I saw at breakfast, and this boy James Castle I knew at Elkton Hills. The funny part is, I hardly even knew James Castle, if you want to know the truth. He was one of those very quiet guys. He was in my math class, but he was way over on the other side of the room, and he hardly ever got up to recite or go to the blackboard or anything. Some guys in school hardly ever get up to recite or go to the blackboard. I think the only time I ever even had a conversation with him was that time he asked me if he could borrow this turtleneck sweater I had. I damn near dropped dead when he asked me. I was so surprised and all. I damn near dropped dead when he asked me. I was so surprised and all. I remember I was brushing my teeth in the can when he asked me. He said his cousin was coming in to take him for a drive and all. I didn't even know he knew I had a turtleneck sweater. All I knew about him was that his name was always right ahead of me at roll call. Cabell W, Castle, Caulfield. I can still remember it. If you want to know the truth, I almost didn't lend him my sweater just because I didn't know him too well. What? I said to old Phoebe. She said something to me, but I didn't hear her. You can't even think of one thing. Yes, I can. Well, do it then. I like Allie. And I like doing what I'm doing right now. Sitting here with you and talking and thinking about stuff. And Allie's dead. You always say that. If somebody's dead and everything and in heaven, then it isn't. I know he's dead. Don't you think I know that? I can still like him though, can't I? Just because somebody's dead, you don't stop liking them, for God's sake. Especially if they were about 1,000 times nicer than the people you know that are alive and all. Old Phoebe didn't say anything. Well, she can't think of anything to say. She doesn't say a goddamn word. Anyway, I like it now. I mean, right now. Sitting here with you and just chewing the fat and horsing. That isn't anything, really. It is so something, really. Certainly it is. Why the hell isn't it? People never think anything is anything, really. I'm getting goddamn sick of it. Stop swearing. All right, name something else. Name something you'd like to be, like a scientist or a lawyer or something. I couldn't be a scientist. I'm no good in science. Well, a lawyer, like Daddy and all. Lawyers are all right, I guess, but it doesn't appeal to me. I mean, they're all right if they go around saving innocent guys' lives all the time and like that, but you don't do that kind of stuff if you're a lawyer. All you do is make a lot of dough and play golf and play bridge and buy cars and drink martinis and look like a hotshot. Besides, even if you did go around saving guys' lives and all, how would you know if you did it because you really wanted to save guys' lives or because you did it? God, there's a lot of becauses here. Or because you did it because what you really wanted to do was be a terrific lawyer, with everybody slapping you on the back and congratulating you in court when the goddamn trial was over. The reporters and everybody, isn't that the way it is in the dirty movies? How would you know you weren't being a phony? The trouble is you wouldn't. Phony counter 46. I'm not too sure old Phoebe knew what the hell I was talking about. I mean, she's only a little child and all, but she was listening at least. If somebody at least listens, it's not too bad. Daddy's gonna kill you. He's gonna kill you. I wasn't listening though. I was thinking about something else. Something crazy. You know what I'd like to be? You know what I'd like to be? I mean, if I had my goddamn choice. What? Stop swearing. You know that song? If a body catch a body, throw it coming through the rye. I'd like, it's if a body meet a body coming through the rye. It's a poem by Robert Burns. I know it's a poem by Robert Burns. She was right though. It is if a body meet a body coming through the rye. I didn't know it then though. Huh, I thought it was if a body catch a body. Anyway, I keep picturing all these little kids playing some game in this big field of rye and all. Thousands of little kids and nobody's around. Nobody big. I mean, except me. And I'm standing on the edge of some crazy cliff. What I have to do, I have to catch everybody if they start going over the cliff. I mean, if they're running and they don't look where they're going, I have to come out from somewhere and catch them. That's all I would do all day. I'd just be the catcher in the rye and all. I know it's crazy, but that's the only thing I'd really like to be. I know it's crazy. Old Phoebe didn't say anything for a long time. Then, when she said something, all she said was, "Daddy's gonna kill you." I don't give a damn if he does, I said. I got up from the bed, I got up from the bed then because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to phone up this guy that was my English teacher at Elkton Hills, Mr. Antolini. He lived in New York now. He quit Elkton Hills. He took this job teaching at NYU. I have to go make a phone call, I told Phoebe. I'll be right back. Don't go to sleep. I didn't want her to go to sleep while I was in the living room. I knew she wouldn't, but I said it anyway just to make sure. While I was walking towards the door, old Phoebe said, "Holden? Holden?" I tried to make it sound like a question, but that just didn't come out right. "Holden?" And I turned around. She was sitting way up in bed. She looked so pretty. "I'm taking belching lessons from this girl, Phyllis Margulies. Listen." I listened and I heard something, but it wasn't much. "Good," I said. And then I went out into the living room and called up this teacher I had, Mr. Antolini. Wow. I think I almost teared up a little bit because I could really feel how much anguish was going through Holden's body and how appreciative he was to just be sitting there and talking to Phoebe and how much he really did miss his brother. Man, it really sucks. I really do. I want to hug this kid really heavy. I just want to give him a big old bear hug and I kind of want to body slam him off the roof of the house, but I guess that's teenagers, huh? I wouldn't know, man. I don't got kids, but damn. I got a real hate-love relationship with this book right now, but that's gonna do it for this episode, yo. Coming in real clean, just a little bit over an hour, but you already know the business. I want y'all to take care of yourselves. I want you to love yourselves just as much as you love somebody else. It might not be easy, but it's just as essential, alright? Take care of yourselves. Make sure you come on back. Hit the Facebook group. Join the Discord. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe.